Hey everybody, Pepper here, and as you can see, I have a special guest with me today. This is Janine Rosche, and her
Hi.
debut novel just came out this week, so we're all celebrating This Wandering Heart. And so she's here with me today to talk a little bit about it, a little bit about story creating, anything else she may want to add to the conversation. And we are going to play author Mad Libs. So you guys want to stick around for the end to see what kind of story Janine has created.
I mean, it's
So
clearly going to be fantastic.
it's going to be fantastic because you've read her debut novel. So you already know she can story create. So now, tell us a little bit about, because I know we're going to talk a little bit about being a debut author a little bit too, but what about your story? Let's hear about This Wandering Heart, a little bit about it.
Okay, well, it is an on-the-road contemporary romance. So it starts off in Montana. I have a whole series called the Madison River Romance Series, and it's all based on the Madison River in West Yellowstone, Montana. And so that's where my family starts out. The series is mostly about a family and their surrounding friends. And they start in Montana, but then it's a road trip romance, and it stars Kira Knudsen, who is a travel blogger by night and geography teacher by day. And so she has this alias, Cat Wonderful, where she goes off on the weekends and no one knows who she is, but she is a big social media influencer, and her dream goal is to become a travel TV show correspondent. And she has an opportunity for that one summer, but she needs some help from the last person she'd ever want to have to rely on again, who is her ex-boyfriend from high school and college, Robbie Matthews, who I believe I had a blogger who called him a cinnamon roll of a man.
No, okay, so really honestly, he was my favorite part of the whole book because he was just the sweetest, just a good guy. Is one of those good guys that you meet. And you know, I'm a hero person.
You are great at
well,
writing heroes.
not about that. I love writing and reading heroes.
Yes.
So whenever I was reading him, I'm like, oh, he's such a sweet guy. So cinnamon roll of a person does make sense for me.
Yes, I realized he is the amalgamation of every boy that I ever had a crush on growing up. I think he has every trait that I always dreamed of as being perfect. Like, I even have a scene where he sings "I'm a Believer." So that covers my monkeys crush, of Mickey Dolenz and Davy Jones. It even has the celebrity crushes in there. So yes, he's pretty fantastic. And so he is a single father, and he is imperfect, and he's impulsive, and he has not always made the best decisions, and he kind of lets his heart lead the way. And he decides that he and his 4-year-old daughter are going to help Kira try to make her dream come true. But then his daughter's mother comes back in the picture after 4 years and is demanding custody. And so he is now in this, I want to help the woman that I once loved, still do love, but I can't risk my daughter. And so they travel all over the American West and try not to fall in love with each other again, because that would complicate matters. But
it's always easy not to fall in love.
Yes, exactly. But it is a romance, and it's got a lot of scenic places that they go and travel. And Kira is a complicated character. She comes from an abusive background, and so she has a lot of conflicting emotions that she has to deal with, where she wants to be free of everyone. She doesn't want anyone having any control over her. And yet she does have this desire to be in a healthy, loving relationship and in a family environment that doesn't harm but actually helps. And it's a fun story.
Yeah, but that's a relatable feeling for everybody. We all want to be loved. We all want to be loved for who we are.
Yes.
And that's where the gospel comes in. Is that constant striving for acceptance and love just at the basic level of who we are. We don't have to
Yeah.
pretend.
Yeah.
And there's nobody
Exactly.
who does that better than Jesus. So it's
Yes.
a great example of that. I think that's why we're drawn to Robbie, because he, even though he has his quirks and his silliness and his spontaneity that can sometimes get him into trouble and certainly annoys Kira, he also gives us that little human glimpse of a godly love, and that is something that I think that's something that draws me to any hero who shares that kind of personality trait, you know.
Yes. Yes, exactly. Yeah.
All right, so another question. What do you like, just one thing that you really like about Kira and one thing that you really like about Robbie?
Okay. Let's see. Well, I really like how Robbie is able to balance humor and like passion. I don't want not passion because that makes it sound dirty, and it's not. He has very high standards
I'm
for
passionate about chocolate. So, passion can mean different things.
Yes, exactly. But he really does love with his whole heart. But he is unconventional and he's silly, like you were saying, and his style of parenting with Annabelle is very different. It's not what you would typically think of.
Yeah.
But yeah, he loves with his whole heart. He loves Annabelle. He loves his sister Ryan, who gets the sequel. He loves he loves Kira. He loves his mom. It's Among the Reads is a blog that you can follow to get some great ideas for books to read. And she highlighted this moment where he's like hugging his mom and holding back tears, and he's like, he had to keep the tears inside or else he and his mom are going to end up watching Hallmark movies all night and
Yes.
eating Oreos. Like,
Yes.
he just loves his women. He really does.
Alex Murdoch, who is
Yes.
Hallmark Pinky, right?
I love him. Yes, Charming the Troublemaker.
The two
Such
of
a fun story.
Alex and Robbie could hang out and watch Hallmark together.
Yes, they should go on a road trip. Wouldn't that be great? We need a road trip, like a buddy, on the road bromance with all the best heroes in Christian fiction.
That would be hilarious.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Kira, what's one thing you really appreciate about Kira?
Okay, so one thing that I like about Kira is she does have a heart to help people. So it seems at the forefront, she tends to come off a little snobby when you first meet her. She's more, demure might not be the right word, but just,
Well, she's emotionally distant.
yeah, she tries to be in control of her, even the relationships that she does have. She has these walls built up, but at the same time, she's trying to become famous, but not for the reason that most people are thinking they want to become a social media influencer or, want to
Yeah.
have a lot of followers. It's because when she was a kid, she was, like I said, in an abusive, controlling household where she wasn't allowed to leave the house. And so she would read novels like Chronicles of Narnia, and she would imagine these places far away. She would watch the Travel Channel, like the Samantha Brown type shows, and she would imagine what the world outside of her home looked like. And so now she wants to travel the world and share that with the people who, for whatever reason, they can't travel, they can't go and see the Galapagos Islands, they can't go and see Australia. She wants to share that with other people, and that is her number one passion. But she does have, she has a lot of struggles. And what's hard is those are a lot of the same struggles that I have. I didn't come from an abusive background, but there is that desire of, I want to be my own person. I want to go and do what I want to do. I want to go see the world and travel the world, but I can't leave these people behind that I love, my family, and so she's a complicated character, but she does have a good heart, and I like that about her.
So those are awesome things, because we get this wonderful blend between her and her distance, and Robbie constantly trying to get beyond that distance, to close in and reveal the real person inside. And I think that's, again, is a universal sort of desire that I think everybody, I don't want to just say women, I think men
Yeah.
feel that way too. So,
Yes.
okay, what is one of your favorite parts of the story? I won't say favorite part, because if somebody asked me what my favorite part of one of my stories was, I'm just like, are you crazy? One of your favorite parts, that I can do. So what's one
Okay.
of your favorite parts of this story?
So there is a scene where they are out in California again on this big summer-long road trip, and they go to a place called Royal Village, which is a knockoff of, Disneyland, Disney World. And it's all based on Robbie's daughter Annabelle's favorite character, who's Princess Patty Cake. And they go and they ride the teacup ride, and they, ride all the roller coasters and everything. And there's a part where he gets into a push-up competition with the Gaston type character, and I loved it because there's a lot of banter there where he's even like, well, he said he was gonna, if he won the push-up contest, then he was gonna win you, Kira. And he said, what is he, from the 13th century? And she said, well, yeah, actually he is from the 13th century. So yeah. And then of course that leads to them sitting by the wishing well with the fireworks going off, and it's a sweet moment.
It is. That was a really fun. It's a wonderful mixture of fun and sweet, and
Yeah.
Robbie's, again, his silliness, but also his that desire to save his lady love, or prove himself. It was a nice mixture. And then you have his daughter in there with all of the comments she'll say and the things she'll do to mix it all together. So it's a really wonderful combination of all those things. Okay.
Yeah, Annabelle has a tendency to ruin big moments. It's a very Hallmark movie where the kid always gets in the way, and
It may be real life too.
my mom was like, I would have put that little girl to bed. My mom was getting so annoyed at this
One
little
scene in
girl.
particular makes me think of that one. Yeah,
Yes.
ruining a pretty big moment. I was
Yes.
clearly thinking of one. Okay, along this line, actually, this relates pretty well. How does writing fit within your regular daily life? Because you're a mom of three boys and a daughter,
And a girl, yeah.
and so, and of course a wife. George was here a little bit ago, but you guys didn't get to see him. He was helping with technical issues.
Yes.
And so that's a part of your world. How does writing fit within that world?
Yeah. I don't know that I have figured out how to get it to fit in perfectly. Part of being a new writer, we were just chatting about this before we started. It's a different world trying to fit in all the times and all the different tasks you have to do. It's not just sitting at a laptop and writing down a story. There's a lot more that tries to steal your time and your emotional energy. I mean, days when I write a breakup scene, I'm a mess. Like I really am an emotional mess those days. I'm a pretty emotional person, so I probably need to get a hold of myself to a certain extent. But it has been hard, especially with current times with the pandemic, and having to be home and having to homeschool. I'm the worst homeschooling mom. My children are all behind in their classes, and I'll have my daughter over here trying to do something, and I don't know how to teach first grade math or first grade writing, and it's been a challenge recently. But for the most part, I have an office where I can slink away to. My kids are pretty independent.
Oops.
And the only problem is then they've made cookies, and they've,
Yeah.
eaten through half the pantry, and they've made a fort, and they've, started an art project. So it has definitely been a challenge, especially recently, but it is fun. My kids all they like to share ideas, and then they get inspired and they say, oh, I'm going to write a story. And that's been fun too.
I think the times right now are not, normal. So everyone is trying to navigate a new sense of how to fit everything else into their daily lives. So right now for the past 2 months, it's all been kind of weird.
Yeah.
Okay. This question, what's been the most, I think to make a guess about the answers are going to be, what's been the most surprising good thing about a debut novel and
Okay.
about releasing a debut novel, because this is your debut novel,
Mm-hmm.
and what has been one of the most surprising, not so good things that you've discovered along the way?
Okay, so one of the surprising good things is just all the people that have shown support. It's humbling to see people want to see you succeed. And I think I tend to just assume, I think I'm naturally a pessimist, and I'm naturally pretty melancholic, and I'm always like right on the edge of that depression crevice.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't think I come across like that on social media, because I've also learned to balance that with just being silly. And so it has been really encouraging to see how many people have just cared for me, and that's been the biggest positive, I would say. And seeing people share my book all over, like my niece found it in a Washington State Walmart and shared about it. It's been really fun.
I think though that's been was the sweetest thing about the Christian community. I mean, I'm sure in the non-Christian community there's lots of fun sharing and things like that too.
Uh-huh.
But I feel like there is just there's not the same competition, a cutthroat kind of competition within the Christian, hopefully not, within the Christian community, where we can love each other's stories and know that God has a plan for each and every story, and we don't have to be in competition with that too.
Yes, and it's great. I saw a comment on Facebook that said the only Christian fiction the person had ever read was a big, big name, which is great, and that author is fantastic. But for them to learn that there are other people who write just as good stories that are amazing, if I can get one of my friends from someplace I lived 20 years ago to read my story and then go, oh, well, I'm going to read a Pepper Basham story. Well, I'm going to read, a Denise Hunter story or whatever. That's the goal, is to show them that there are stories out there that are sweet, that are hopeful, that are encouraging, that are inspirational. So I've really appreciated that. And I've loved that people have taken the time to just show that encouragement to me. Even like you, like being willing to endorse my first book. Like, you had no reason to do that other than just being kind and wanting to help someone out. It's been really encouraging. What hasn't been encouraging,
that should be though, that Christ in us should be what we do.
Exactly.
I hope anyway.
Right. I would say what hasn't been so encouraging is probably, on the flip side of that coin, the people that you would hope would show support to you and don't necessarily. And I haven't had too many of those, but when they do happen, it hurts, it stings. I was just having a conversation with another author friend today that you just would hope that people would care for you back and show support to you back. And it doesn't always happen, but then you'll have people where you feel like you've been a terrible friend to them, or you've been not encouraging to them, and then they share your book with all of their friends and family, and so then you feel guilty and make a mental note like, oh, I need to just care for them and show them how much I appreciate them. So like I said, I'm a pretty emotional person. So even when people tag me in a review, like on their blog, I have to give myself like a life affirmations with Stuart Smalley, daily affirmations. Like, it's okay, I'm good enough, I'm smart enough, and doggone it, people like me. Like I have to tell myself that old SNL speech before I sit down to read a review. Like,
okay, that doesn't change. I mean, some people have made the decision to not read any reviews. I'm not one of those people. I probably try to find every review.
Yes.
So, but I'm still every time I'll click on to open up the review, I'm going, Okay. What's it gonna be?
Yes, yes. And then even when it's positive, I get all weird. And then I'm just like, I just get this like weird look on my face and I can't think of any words. And then I look like a snob. Like I read that review and I don't care about it. No, it's actually, I care about it so much. I become weird and I don't have any words to say.
Thank you is always the best starting point. So you can just start with those two. And
Yes, yes. Thank you. Insert ugly cry here. Like that.
I think you need to copy paste that. Just leave it on the side where you can just copy paste. Put it
Exactly. It'll be on my clipboard.
There you go. There you go. See?
Ugly cry.
Now you have your problem solved, right?
Yeah.
Even when it's bad, you can put thank you.
Insert ugly cry. Yes, exactly. It fits for almost every occasion with somebody like me.
The title of your nonfiction book will be
Yes.
thank you. Insert ugly cry here.
Exactly.
Okay. So before we get too far into this, we can keep talking after, but we definitely need to do the Mad Libs.
Yeah.
So are you ready?
I'm ready. Well, I think I'm ready. We'll see.
Yeah. And then after we do the Mad Libs, you can ask me questions if you want, or
I would love to.
talk some about what's coming up next for you, which would be good too.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So the first word I need from you now, for those of you who don't know what Mad Libs is, let me give you a little quick rundown. I'm going to be asking Janine for different types of words. She does not know what story that I'm putting her words in, so it will probably end up being funny. We hope.
Nice.
Yes. So, and she likes funny, so that's good.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm going to be asking her words. I fill in the words into this little narrative, and then we read it back. I'm going to read it back, and we're going to see what happens here.
Perfect.
Her newest novel will be. No. All right. So, an adjective.
Okay. Oh gosh, you're getting me on my grammar. I have to like go back to like
Adjectives are descriptive words.
Yes.
You use them very well.
Handsome. Handsome.
Handsome. All right. Handsome. Verb.
Dance.
Ooh, nice. Noun.
Montana.
Montana. Another noun.
Dog.
Another noun.
Kiss.
One of my favorite nouns, by the way. A verb.
Run.
Right after the kiss. A person.
Does it have to be like a proper noun?
You can pick any person.
Let's do Fabio. My mom told me that even though I had an inspiration for who Robbie looked like, she was choosing to imagine him as Fabio. So Fabio.
Okay, so everybody has a ping.
Yes.
Fabio is Robbie. Not my mind didn't go there. Famous actor.
Okay. Robert Redford, who was my original inspiration for Robbie.
Ooh, young Robert Redford. Very nice choice. Activity.
Ooh, playing Twister.
Okay. Body part. And we are a Christian fiction writer, so be nice.
Yes. Let's see. Nape of the neck.
Ooh. All right. And then we have just a few more. Number.
7.
Genre.
Ooh. Paranormal romance in outer space. That's probably not a genre, but let's pretend it is.
It'll be fun. Now a different genre.
Okay. Historical murder mystery.
Hey, I have one of those. Okay. Description of something, like an adjective.
Okay. Ooh.
Like if it's like funny or silly or scary, something like
Okay. Dull.
that. And two more. Emotion.
Okay. Sad.
And then last one is activity.
Okay. Activity. Road tripping.
Are you ready for the story?
Oh, based
Janine's
on my answers?
fabulous, Janine's fabulous fiction. Here we go.
Okay.
Being a writer is one of the most handsome things in the world. I get the opportunity to dance story worlds and fill them with some of my favorite Montanas. And, and creating characters, well, that's a piece of dog. My heroine has the best kiss. She maybe, we'll ask Robbie.
Yeah.
Loves to run and knows exactly what Fabio needs. My
mom would agree with that.
my hero, he looks like Robert Redford, loves to play Twister, thus both would work,
Yes.
and has the best nape of the neck around, which always weakens my heroine's knees. She's kind of moved by the nape of the neck.
She is.
I'm not too concerned about word count. I usually aim for 7 pages. And the plot? Totally paranormal romance in outer space all the way, with a little bit of historical murder mystery sprinkled. Wow!
Right. That's quite a story. Quite a story.
I think people like my stories because they're dull. And give readers a sense of sadness.
Oh.
They're dull and they give readers a sense
And they're sad. How? Buy it now.
This is so not true of your story. Maybe I should put happy emotion next time. Plus, I just love road tripping.
Yes. Well, that's true. And if you love road tripping and you're stuck in your house right now, this might be a good book for you.
That's right. And this really fits as far as my wandering heart, because you have Robert Redford and his excellent nape of the neck.
Yes.
So,
yes. That's so funny. You know, I always get confused, and I think other writers do too. I don't know that people know where the nape of the neck is, because I always think of it being like back here, but I think other people think it's like down here.
Oh yeah, no.
I've read it both ways, and I'm thinking, I don't know that that's right, but I don't know.
I'm pretty sure it's the one back here, but you know what? That has given me room for thought on research today.
Exactly.
Here is the nape of the neck.
Yes.
And pictures of what Robert Redford's nape of the neck really looks like.
That would, yeah. I might have to go through all of his old movies and watch them just to try to find that. So.
Scotch Pepper, we found it. Yeah. Very nice nape of the neck. I give it a 9 out of 10. You know.
Yes.
Okay, so next up for you, what do we got?
Okay, so I am launching a digital magazine in June called Love, Wonder, Read, and it's free for my followers. And really, it's just taking everything that I love. So road tripping, travel, family. I teach, you know, like we were talking about, you know, how you're in the mental health field. So I am in family development and relationships. That's what I teach in my day job. And so I'm combining a lot of those topics along with my writing and my traveling, and all of that will be available to my followers starting in June for a digital magazine. Okay. And then I have, in September, I have a barber collection. And my dog's walking around.
That's all right. Cool. We love dogs.
Yeah.
A piece of dog actually was in your story.
Exactly. Yeah.
Piece, but you know.
But you know, Robbie he's a bit Labrador, I would say. Of all the dog breeds, I would say maybe Boxer or Labrador is kind of his personality. So we'll go with that.
Or Border Collie.
Yes, Border Collie. He's a bit busy. Yeah. But I have a novella collection with Barber coming out in September, and it's a Christmas collection, and it's based on a nativity set that gets passed through generations. And I'm the third story, but we also have Suzanne Dietz and Shannon McNair and Deb Rainey are a part of that collection. It's called the Love's Pure Light collection.
Awesome.
So that is that's the next thing. And then I have the sequel to Kira and Robbie's story. Well, they're not the main characters, but it's
Right,
his
the
sister's
two
story
in the
coming up
series.
in October. Yeah.
You have a busy year planned.
I do. It's busy. And then I have to get going on the next series. And yeah, which sadly will not be in Montana. I'm moving it to Colorado this time, but I will happily go and visit Colorado to do some research.
Hey, you like the wandering? It's okay.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Travel. I mean, I'm aiming for Ireland, so.
I know, and you'll get there. It was so sad that you had to cancel your trip.
Yeah, we'll go again. I have a promise from my husband. He can't break it.
Yes, exactly. And congratulations to you. I saw that this is your 5-year book anniversary
Yesterday
of your debut, The Thorn Bearer, which I have about a half an hour left in the audiobook. I have not had enough time because my children are always around and I have very talkative children. Shocking, I know. But the second I try to listen to the audiobook, they'll be like, Mom, who invented gloves? Or some random question. And I can't listen to the audiobook. So I have a half an hour left, and it's such a great story. I cannot believe it was your debut.
The narrator is fabulous for that story.
She's great. But the story is just, it takes you from America to the Lusitania to England and back again. It's a great story.
I think I started out loving two different places. I keep mixing up my worlds with the Blue Ridge Mountains and across the pond. So
yes, you do it so seamlessly. I don't know how you can be so good at this genre and then so good at this genre. I bet you'd be really good at paranormal, outer space romance.
It's been really my deep dream to write one of those. I just don't have the time. Actually, I do have several fantasy books in the works, and one steampunk paranormal.
Oh, how fun!
No surprise. My brain is always, but I can't touch those right now because I've got to keep working.
Other projects.
Yes,
I go first. Yes.
Well, and as you know, it's hard to, especially right now, but it's hard to fit everything in. Just in life, and I'm so thankful. I'm so thankful how I have things to do, and I'm thankful I still have a job that I can work right now, especially in this time. But there's so many. Stories are always around, and it sounds like you've got plenty going on up here, and there's never really enough time to just sit down and write them all.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
All right. Do you have any questions for me?
Let's see. Tell me a little bit about your next book that's coming up. It's a true crime, right?
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about that.
Why don't I jump into another genre? No. That was actually a really hard one to write because I'm not a scary writer.
Yeah.
Even though I do want to write the steampunk one that's about Jack the Ripper.
Oh.
So, but it took place in my hometown of Carroll County, Virginia, and there was a courthouse massacre that happened in 1912. And so it related to mountain people, moonshining business, big feud between this one family in the community and the lawmakers of the community. And so, and it was a little tricky just because where I grew up, it's still a point of contention in a lot of ways. No one knows who fired the first shot, and there's all kinds of conspiracy theories about who did. So I had to be really careful because my parents still live there. So I'm like, I don't want to pick a side because I'll have half the community hate me.
Yeah. I bet that was nerve-wracking trying to balance that. But it sounds like an interesting story.
We'll see. It was adventurous. I'm not a scary writer. I'm more
Mhm.
of the adventure side, like Indiana Jones adventure
Yes.
side, instead
Yes.
of, kind of creepy Stephen King side. I'm
Mhm.
this side. Suspense on here.
Right.
So hopefully, I mean, even, yeah. So that's the one that's coming out in October, and I'm working on my new book for Barbara that comes out in April, which is my first split time.
Okay. A new genre. Why not? Yeah.
And I write both contemporary and historical, so it's different because they're in the same book, but
Right.
but
But if anybody can do it, you can.
I
Yeah.
don't know about that. We'll see. Remember, first time.
Right.
But it takes place at the Biltmore, so
Of course. Yes.
and England again.
Nice.
Bring
Nice.
my worlds together.
Yeah. And don't you have plans for an Egypt-based book at some point?
I I I do. I have Egypt, and I also have England, and I also have a contemporary that I have absolutely loved writing. That's almost all through emails, and it's America, Mount Airy, North Carolina, where I lived really close to, and this island in the middle of Scotland and Norway. That so
Ooh. That sounds fun.
it's
Wow.
a romantic comedy epistolary story.
Okay. Okay. I would love to read that.
So for people with short attention spans, they can just the email and then go to do something else and come back and read another one.
Right.
All right. So where can people find your debut?
Okay, it is everywhere online where, it's on Amazon and Barnes& and Noble and Target.com. It has been seen in Walmart's. We have a store chain here called Meijer in the upper Midwest. And so I saw it at mine. It was just so exciting to see it at your grocery store, the one that
I
you're
know, right?
always in. Yeah, the one where I buy half my books. And so that was really exciting to see that. And it should be Berkeley sells everywhere, Rite Aid, CVS pharmacies, Kroger's. So look for it when you're there. I actually have a contest going on for the month of May called Where in the World is Cat Wonderful, because I was obsessed with Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego when I
Yes,
was
yes.
a teenager. And if you see my book out and about, even if you don't buy it, take a picture of it and tag me on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter, and then use the hashtag Where in the World is Cat Wonderful, and you'll be entered to win a $75 Visa gift card.
Awesome. That
Yeah.
is what a great promo, especially with Kira's job. So that's
Yes.
fantastic. All
Yeah,
right.
and it's been fun. I have a little map where I can scratch off the states when I see it. It's been seen in South Africa. Yeah, it's been fun.
All right. Well, thank you so much for being a part of this today. And
Thank you for having me.
go check out Janine's book and look for a lot of other books coming out from her this year. So we'll talk with you guys later. And thanks so much for being here.